Some truly disturbing news and unsettling, to say the least, is what we're seeing right here, which is that Solana has just had some intermittent downtime after an attack. Obviously, there's a lot of information that is still yet to come out here. But just like we were talking about last night in the Solana versus Ethereum video, is exactly this, which is Solana, as exciting, as compelling as the technology, the ecosystem, Sam himself, still has a lot to prove here. And as we'll go through today, the ultimate battle of Solana versus Ethereum is really starting to show, at least for right now in this very moment, its true colors. You're definitely going to want to see the extent of what's happened here, because this is truly pressing news in the world of crypto, understanding and helping pierce through the noise of where value really lies and what is truly ready for prime time mainstream adoption. You're definitely going to want to see this one front to back, as each and every segment is packed with value, and at the end we're going to be giving you a pretty important conclusion here. So make sure you smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, because also we're going to be giving away some really important hints for the upcoming NFT free mint project that's all community based. It's going to be very interesting. It's kind of like an experiment here, so make sure you're subscribed there, make sure you smash that like button, and with that said, let's dive in. Now, of course, as you can see right here, the Solana mainnet beta is experiencing intermittent instability, and this is most likely due to an attack here. This began approximately 45 minutes ago, and this tweet is, of course, from my time, 5:38 a.m., so it's been a long time, obviously. And they're saying under this Solana status that resource exhaustion in the network is causing a denial of service. Engineers are working towards a resolution. Validators are preparing for a potential restart if necessary. And people are saying Elio trades this. I'm not sure why I'm being tagged there. But anyway, the point is that this is exactly what people have been fearing, which is that this young, exciting blockchain that's promising to solve all of these issues that have been pervasive issues over the course of the history of the blockchain industry, all of a sudden just changing the variables, making the stuff super fast, is really the issue. Now, of course, every time you add new variables or change underlying variables, you risk new attack vectors. And this is exactly what we're seeing. And I love how you're seeing this mainnet beta, right? This is a beta. This is not a fully fledged, ready for prime time piece of software. So keep that in mind. That's both good and bad, right? Because Solana, you could say it's just in beta, right? This is just part of the beta process. But also, this is not like Ethereum, which has been out there working and essentially beating back attacks now for many years. Speaking of which, in stark contrast, and this is kind of like the sentiment here, this is exactly what we'll talk about right now, which is, so do we like rotate back to ETH or double down on Sol, which is the kind of funny thing to say here. But that's essentially what people are saying, is like, this is the commitment that people have to Solana, is sure, it's good while it's pumping, but as soon as some issue pops up, are these people really going to stick around? Are they really going to stick around? I don't know. This is all new, and I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying you need to take everything that says it's an ETH killer with a boulder of salt. And this is exactly the moment where we're starting to see why this stuff is so darn important. Now, if this tweet doesn't say it all, I don't know what does. This is what happens with cheaper, faster, better, is that it's really easy to spam and attack the network. Here we go. Check this out. Apparently, for the Solana chain to start working again, they need to restart the chain from self-generated snapshot. They need 80% of validators in supermajority to agree. Sounds like they've gone through this process in the past. Again, very, very concerning. Solana has been completely down for 7 hours now, by the way, with 0 blocks being produced. So I'm just wondering, is this what it seems like to have the blockchain of the future? Don't get me wrong, the potential is huge, but this is massively problematic if you had transactions or things that needed to go through, you had funds that were stuck there that you needed to get at a certain period in time. Now, I know Ethereum is expensive, but it doesn't stop working. Keep that in mind. Moving along, we actually have someone who attacked Ethereum today. So it's not just Solana that got attacked, but guess what? Ethereum didn't have an issue. Ethereum didn't have any downtime, and blocks kept on processing. There was a little bit of a detour from course, but it worked itself out completely naturally as per the plan. Read along with me here. Someone unsuccessfully tried to attack Ethereum today by publishing a long 550 blocks, which contained invalid proof of works. Only a small percentage of Nethermind's code switched to this invalid chain. All other clients rejected the long side chain as invalid. The chain has been overtaken in length by the good chain now and should be overtaken in difficulty soon. Also looks like the attacker is not mining further on his published invalid chain. Another great demonstration of how client diversity makes Ethereum much stronger. The chain that has been overtaken in difficulty now too, all affected nodes reorged back to the good chain, no immediate attention required from node operators. So as you can see, not only was Ethereum attacked here, but it didn't even suffer downtime. There was a minor reorganization that literally naturally worked itself out with no attention required from node operators. And to begin with, most of the actual proof of work supporters, most of the nodes rejected this invalid proof of work. So this is where you start to see the difference. Literally at the exact same time, you're seeing the difference between Ethereum's actual reaction to what's going on when an attack happens and Solana's. And so what's really important here is to understand that what crypto is, most importantly, as a fundamental basic underlying use case, is a security model on assets. Now, of course, all of the throughput and functionality and excitement around consumer use cases, those are the flowers that bloom on top of the security model. But if the security model isn't completely airtight, if the decentralization isn't something that actually prevents attacks and all those things, then the actual use cases on top might as well be running on AWS, and they'd be even faster there, right? So this is where you start to see the proof in the pudding of decentralization, of security models. And here, I'm not saying that Solana can't overcome these difficulties, but it's important to realize that when things like this occur, when moments like this take place, you're starting to see the mask removed here beyond the hypium and the hopium, and starting to see what really happens when things, the rubber hits the road, when the SHIT hits the fan. We don't want to get demonetized here, so that's why we don't swear. Anyway, the point is that this is a massive, massive juxtaposition here that helps you understand where in its life cycle Solana is versus Ethereum. We're talking about beta new stuff versus battle-tested existing software that supports an incredible amount of real-world assets and utility in Ethereum. We're talking about the core foundations of the blockchain industry versus an exciting new prospect. And that needs to remain extremely clear in your mind as you're starting to see Solana valuations balloon compared to Ethereum, right? And we also wanted to make it clear that these aren't the only two players, as well as Ernst & Young here. EY selects Polygon to scale its enterprise blockchain on Ethereum. And the quote here is saying, working with Polygon provides EY teams a powerful set of tools, Anyway, the point is Polygon just bagged another massive client. So they're going to be keeping their hat in the ring here, especially as they've just acquired the Hermes network, a ZK rollup network as well. They're going to be pushing forward to actually have more of a Polkadot kind of Cosmos model here, according to Sandeep and the team over there at Polygon. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this evolves. Again, there are going to be a ton of players here. This is the internet of blockchains now. There's not just one. So understand that as one chain experiences difficulties, others can come in to fill the gap. And just because Solana's been on a hot streak doesn't mean it's the end-all be-all of the blockchain industry. Very important to keep that in mind. We also see a nice reversal here from DeFi blue chips like Sushi. I think that's very nice. Of course, I've been thinking Sushi is dramatically undervalued for quite some time. I feel like there might be some price suppression here on things like Sushi, which are so obviously massive pieces of technology. I feel like Sushi's just undervalued, right? The amount of TVL to market cap, very interesting to keep an eye on. We also have Polygon getting native support in Coinbase Wallet and a full integration in the works. Very interesting stuff here. We also have Arbitrum pushing forward with some massive APYs here on USDC plus USDT, a very low risk pool here. Stablecoin to stablecoin pool giving you over 30% APY. Most likely will come down in the very near future. And then we have Immutable, another scaling solution for NFTs, raising $60 million for its infrastructure. Very, very cool stuff. So the long and the short of this is Solana, the young, hot, exciting blockchain, a narrative we've seen touted a lot. We saw this with EOS, we saw this with Tron, we saw this with a lot of the ETH killers. Solana very well might have the stuff that it takes to actually kill Ethereum, but I've been hearing from a lot of my big brain friends here that there's a long road to go before you can actually claim that Solana is going to meaningfully unseat Ethereum. And times like this, times like today, are the reason reasons why people are holding most of their wealth in Ethereum versus Solana. And that's why the store of value for Ethereum and that value prop is pretty obvious, right? You can do all of the things you can do with Solana, albeit with ridiculously high fees, but with a very, very reliable battle-tested security model. And security, remember, is the core function of the blockchain. If it's not secured by the blockchain, then what is the point? Just run it on AWS, run it on a traditional server. So at least you have the speed, right? And it's at least easy to program with APIs and stuff. If not, why are you even using the blockchain? So security is the first and most important trait. That's why Ethereum and Bitcoin keep the crowns as the biggest stores of value, because we know that Bitcoin has maintained its security model for over a decade. Ethereum is the second best. And that's why we get, obviously there are other coins that have maintained their security models, but Ethereum is also the one that we're most excited by of the next. So that's why these coins are maintaining their stranglehold on SOV and the sort of mind share here. But without a doubt, Solana is super exciting and will most likely overcome this and become even stronger because of it. But just know we're still in the early days for Solana and we haven't seen real tests. These are some of the first tests we've seen for Sol. So is this a buy the dip opportunity for Solana? Well, look, I know it's coming for Solana. Amazing games, amazing different infrastructure, amazing mainstream exposure. I would be very careful in saying that this is the top for Solana. No, I think that Solana has much more gas in the tank and that $1,000 at the end of the bull run is not even remotely crazy. Now that said, I think that Solana killing Ethereum meaningfully, meaning that developers are leaving and abandoning Ethereum for Solana, I just think that we're so early. This is like inning one of a very, very long and brutal baseball game here. But I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think that this calls into question Solana's ability to kill Ethereum, to be the leading smart contracts blockchain? Let me know in the comment section below. If you got some value out of this, smash that like button. Remember, each and every comment on this video is entered to win your own hardware wallet. And as always, if you're not subscribed, well, it's going to be hard to gain your citizenship here. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. The game will begin very soon. As always, my name's Elio Trades. You can find me on Twitter at Elio Trades. You better be following there too, as the clues can come from any which way. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.